parents were boomers, right? A year apart. I've never heard my mom speak in a way like my father with the system and the white man and all that holding y'all down. My mom had to get out there and do what she had to do. But my dad can have
Mm.
101 excuses to why he can't do what he do, but then look at my mom and rag her his little finger and say, "Well, you out there working for the white man," little petty shit like that. So my point is, it seemed like even listening to Chicago Rilla,
Mhm.
Nightish, even like DJ kind of coming up, it's like I understand because once again I was raised by one, but
Mhm.
there's a way to say what you need to say and be effective without having to tear somebody down. Because, like I said, I never heard my father
Mm.
say he didn't like me, right? Maybe there's probably times he did, I didn't like him either, but it was the same thing. Like, well, who put food on the table? Who put clothes on your back? To be honest, mama did most of the time. So, but if I said that, then I'll probably get slapped in the mouth. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'll take those hits because
I Miss Tiff.
I think in this generation, one thing I like about
I
these
think
kids,
it
hold on, I'm
teaches.
almost done.
Let me say
Okay,
this.
I
my
like
bad.
about these
Hold on,
kids,
let
they're
her
very
finish her
Let,
thought.
let
vocal.
it rock.
Hold
Let her
on,
finish
let her
it.
finish
Right.
her
Big
Hold
thought.
on.
J.
I'm
DJ
almost
wanted to
done.
go next, then Chicago.
Okay,
So
go
Okay,
let
ahead.
yeah.
her finish her thought, Big
I'm
J,
landing my
Chicago.
plane now. One thing I love about this generation, they're very vocal. Like I know sometimes you look at them and we look at them and say, if that was us, our parents would put hands and feet or paws on us. But it's like I love that the fact they can be vocal, but there's a way you can say it without, it can sound disrespectful, but if the kids or they're trying to get clarity of what you're saying, why
Mm.
shut them down instead of, well, stay in a child's place? But how long can they stay in a child's place? Because according to even to my father, I'm still his child until the day he died,
That's a fact.
right?
Can I
And,
go after
as an adult.
Chicago?
So yeah,
Yes.
but that's my point. Listen, y'all know I got to be on the opposition. But anyway, let me go
That's
plug my
Now,
okay.
peace
laptop
to
up.
you, Tip.
That's
Let
okay.
me
Shout
say
out to
this.
y'all.
Shout out to you, Tiff. What's going on, y'all? Here's the
What's
thing, though.
going on, Big J?
So I don't what's going on. So I don't know why y'all keep using that movie Fences, because
Mhm.
here's the problem with that movie Fences.
Mhm.
Older black men are jealous of younger black men.
Oh.
Tell the
It's
truth,
time
Big
to
J.
start. No, no. That
Speak
is the
on it.
truth
Speak
because
on
I've
it.
seen it all the time, and I got a gripe
Mm-mm.
against you baby boomer niggas. You're always on the street corner.
Mm-mm.
You're always on the street corner drinking liquor,
Mm-mm.
and
Mm-mm.
y'all got your mouth on everybody else.
Hey, Doc, I'm
Now,
gonna tell you
I,
this
I, mean,
right
I,
now.
remember, I remember growing up.
Some subliminal.
I remember growing up as a millennial. I always see you
And
niggas.
Taz gonna agree with this when I say this.
No, hold on. It's always you older head niggas always at the street corner. You baby boomers
Mm-hmm.
sitting there got your mouth on everybody. Now
Mm-hmm.
think I have a grandpa who passed away
Mm-hmm.
about 5-6 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I still have my grandparents still. Most of them are still here, right? Most of my grandparents still here. They're in the late 80s, early 90s. But the thing is, um, I wish y'all stop
Mm-hmm.
using movie
Stop
clips and
is
all that
crazy.
as a barometer of what they went through, because we don't know what they went through.
You're
And
right.
this whole idea of them talking crazy, in their outlet. I mean, some you can't put that jacket on every one of them, and I think
Stop is
that's kind of
shocking.
unfair on that angle.
Mm-hmm.
But
Don't
like I
ya?
said,
But
Wait,
don't
so
y'all think is a big difference between somebody, because there's parents that could say that they love their kids but don't do none of them stuff for them and it's just words. Don't you think that's teaching somebody to recognize action over just words? Because a lot of people, a lot of young ladies and a lot of young men fall for sweet words,
I
gravitate
want
to
to
who
jump in
can
and
tell them the
answer
sweetest
this question.
words rather than somebody who's fulfilling their
I'll
duty.
see my space, Candy.
Oh, my fault, my fault. I think
No,
I
no, no,
cut.
no, 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 Doc, you good. No, no. For whoever's just said they
I
wanna
that
jump in there.
that was
I think
that was me. I wanna jump in because while you all were talking, that was actually something that was on my mind. Do
mm-hmm.
you realize that maybe a lot of people have messed up relationships today? Like we're talking about dad to son, right? Dad
Mm-hmm.
taught son, I can talk to you crazy any old kind of way, but the actions of how I took care of you should have told you that I loved you. Now translate that over to a relationship, romantic relationship. Doesn't that explain why some people are in bad relationships? Because
Some of it. Is that Candy?
That's a good
yes,
I
question. I
can't
like
see the
that.
what's the name. So Candy, did you miss the part? And I think Nighty said this too and agreed with me, where we overcorrect. Gen X has overcorrected
it's not even just.
consistently. No,
I'm
no,
not
no. I'm
even
saying Gen
saying
X. I'm
overcorrect.
not even
I
saying
hear
no,
you,
no, no,
but
Candy. I'm not even talking about my granddad. I understand what it was with my granddad. Guess what? I give him grace. I've given my granddad and my uncles and them and all them before me, all them that was on heroin, all them that did all the
do you
things that I should
understand
not
what
have
my
did.
question was, Chicago? Because
Okay, go
that's
ahead. I
not what
didn't
I
hear
was
the
talking
question.
about.
I didn't hear the
I didn't
question.
think so. The
I heard the
question
statement. I
is,
didn't hear the question. Go ahead.
so the question is, when I see this sort of setup where you're talking about you grew up with them talking crazy to you, do you not see how that can translate to this man now getting into a relationship with his wife and she be talking crazy to him, but she cooks his food, she washes his clothes, she irons his
I,
shirts, but she's talking out the side of her neck and he why somebody might, and I'm just using this as an example because this is what we just saw. I'm talking about patterns repeating themselves starting.
Candy, I conceded that.
Wait,
I think I
Chicago.
did say
Wait,
yes.
Chicago.
No,
Can
when
you
she
ask the
no, well, let
question
me
one more
just
time, Candy? Can't
no,
because
let me
I'm
just
not
answer her
understanding
really
you.
quick, Nightish. When you said that, Candy, I conceded that. I said yes.
What you conceding to?
When she said aside, because that's why I went back to the granddads, right? When she said, "Hey, can you understand that when we see X, Y, Z, and this person doing this, and the disconnect from that," I said yes. I agree with you. I said that's why we overcorrected for our children, and not only that, for our relationships with our women. Because we didn't want to be, we a lot of us was like, we not finna do what our what we saw. A lot of us in Gen X was like that. I'm not finna do the same thing that I saw my granddad do, my uncle and them do.
You
They
know,
out here drinking and wilding and whoop-de woo and treating their women, and they got 2, 3 women and whoop-de woo. Like, are those things still gonna happen? Absolutely, yes.
you know,
But a lot
But
of us
Candy,
deviate for that. That's
but
why. That's why you get Night is saying, "I was with my woman for X amount of years."
yeah, but that's I want her to ask her question again because I didn't hear
Okay,
the
go ahead. My
question.
bad. I'm on mute.
I didn't hear
So
the question.
the question was basically, the example that we watched is that the father grew up basically where the son didn't know that he loved him. He's asking him, "Do you even like me?" And now he's saying, as he's cursing him out and calling him a nigger or monkey or whatever he called him, in the
Nigga. He
same
said
breath,
nigga. Yeah, he said nigga.
as you are talking crazy to him, you're trying to prove on the back end all the ways that you showed your love. I'm saying, do you not see how that can translate into even our romantic relationship practices? Because you could have a situation where this man now equates, it doesn't matter how you talk to me, it just matters what you do for me out of duty. So then he could
Yeah.
have married a woman
right.
who talks crazy to his ass, cheats on him, but she comes home, she cooks, she cleans, she does X, Y, and Z. I
Oh
guess
yeah.
I'm trying.
Yeah. I understand now. So I think the book was called "Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus."
Mm-hmm.
That's the book. I'm talking to Candy. Have you heard of that book, Candy?
I have.
Yes.
We don't talk the same.
Hmm?
So we don't talk the same.
Okay.
So that's one thing. We don't talk the same, right? Uh I agree with Taz and Chicago though about the time frame. There was some dudes that was pussy ass niggas that didn't do nothing. But let's think
Mm-hmm.
about that time frame again. And this is why history is important. And Taz is a history dude. I watch a lot of Taz stuff.
Mm-hmm.
In the 60s, when James Brown said, "I'm black and I'm proud," niggas was burning these cities down. They was
Mm-hmm.
revolting. So I'm confused about the pussy part. We've always
Was he
revolted.
also beating women's asses too?
Yes, and women was getting their ass whipped too. That's a fact. So I agree with
James
both
Brown
of
was putting
them.
paws on them, right? Okay.
Putting, whooping their ass. Because when I'm saying shut the fuck up, I'm got to go out here and burn some shit down. You want to fight with me and tell me, no, baby, we gonna die and blah blah.
But that also
No, we
happened
gotta
within the
burn
black.
this
That's what happened with
motherfucker
you.
to the ground.
But sis,
We
that
gotta
also
burn this.
happened within the Black Panther Party.
1 second. I was quiet.
But my bad, Nidish.
We got to burn this motherfucker down, and you're saying,
Correct.
no, what about the family? No, I don't want to fight with you. I
Correct.
got this shit over here to do. And you want me to sit still and kiss your ass because of your feelings and love. So both things are a fact. So when Taz said them niggas was cowards, some were. Others was trying to burn this motherfucker to the ground. That's a fact. We always revolted. And I hate when people do that. They make it seem like it's one thing when it's a bunch of things. The silent generations was shitted on, fucked over. I keep repeating the same thing. That's why they were not human feeling. That's why they were robotic. My dad is a silent generation dude. So I'm the child of a silent generation motherfucker that wasn't finna talk to this woman and try to make you feel some kind of way or make me feel some kind of way. My father, I got my ear pierced. You're gay. I had a ducktail.
That's a fact.
You're gay.
Yeah, that's a fact.
I brought a full woman to my house. If that's a boy, this is a damn girl. Where this nigga just
Well,
was.
isn't that interesting? Now you're telling your children you love them, and they're calling you gay. Like the cycle just repeating itself.
No.
Like,
But see, why are you cutting me off to make that point? So let's talk about that point then. Let's talk about that point then.
I mean, I shouldn't.
No, cool. We can say that. That's okay. You perfectly fine. The pendulum swung this way.
Personalize it, so we're gonna personalize.
No,
it,
we
like,
can personalize. I'm okay with that.
Why,
I'm perfectly fine with that. I'm a fully developed person. I can have this conversation.
Candy, my bad.
So the pendulum swung this way, where I watched The Courtship of Eddie Father, Father Knows Best, The Cosby Show, Leave It to Beaver, Andy Griffith Show. All those things were about dads who had a lot of conversations with their kids. So I never
y'all didn't have
wanted
no
to.
real life experiences.
My real life experience is me loving my kids and not beating the fuck out of them and calling them nigga. And telling them, when you go in the store, shut the fuck up and not do this.
Like,
well, now I'm talking about real life, and you don't care about the real life because you want to dominate me. And the problem is this: what's wrong with the real life I'm talking about now, and how I didn't talk over you when you were talking? Why, when I'm talking about real life now with my actual sons and how I treat them and how I love on them and all this other stuff, that's irrelevant because I'm talking about the TV shows that I looked at. In my experience, it wasn't no men around. I know my great-great-grandmother, their husbands wasn't around no more. They passed away in their 30s. I talk about my grandmothers, their husbands wasn't around no more. They passed away in their 30s. So it wasn't a lot of men around. So I come up out of a matriarchy, mostly women. And on both sides of the family, whether it's my mother's side or my father's side had the most kids. Those was 13 kids. 8 women, 5 boys. The boys passed away and the women still around. So it's still a matriarchy. And I'll be trying to have real conversations. I am not a mean person with my babies. So they never heard or went through the things that I went through. I got beat to blood. They never been whooped. If they was whipped, it was they got popped 5 times with my hand maybe. But when I listen to them talk, their story sounds just like mine because they live vicariously through other stories. They didn't really go through those things. So I just want to have real conversations with people. And the fact that people say, well, you're talking about movies and these other things, because those things were influential to me. So that's why I bring them up.
See,
influential to us.
Hold on. This is why I went back to the whole explaining the reason for showing the movie. It was a demonstration because again, I can't go tap my granddaddy. He's passed away. I can't tap him and my uncle and say, "Come have this conversation in front of the people so they can see what it was like."
Right.
It was
them movies fucked you niggas up.
Not at all.
Which one?
I've been saying that shit since I got on this internet. Them movies fucked you niggas up.
But which
not
one?
At all.
Name 2.
Yeah. Not at all.
Claudine, for example. That's one of those movies that got niggas running around saying dumb shit.
Okay, fair enough.
Superfly. The Mac.
that definitely got to.
Oh yeah, that's all.
Goofy.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
But go back to Claudine though. So Taz, you think it's bad to be a stepfather?
No, I think it's bad to present it as they took the man out the house. Look at the movie Claudine. They tell you all about it.
No,
nigga, it's a real fucking history there. Don't watch no fucking Claudine.
No, Chicago. 1 second. Claudine is about a man accepting a baby mama who had, I think, 4 or 5 kids. It's a bad thing for men to be stepfathers.
But that's not what came out of it. Because here's the thing, if what positive came out of it was it's good for men to be stepfathers, I wouldn't be talking about it. I've never seen Claudine. I only hear what people reference, and every time it's some dumb nigga talking about the government kicking somebody out.
Well, that's not what.
Wait, Chicago. Let me have this little piece with Taz for a moment. So Taz, for a moment, in the 90s. A lot of dudes was being stepdads. So this whole thing about not being stepdads is a more recent thing in the 2000s. In the 90s, a lot of dudes was okay with being mentors. In the 90s, a lot of dudes was okay with being coaches. What I'm seeing now in the later 2000s, I want to say about 2005 and forward, men are just walking away from everything. 2005. So I think that Claudine had a positive effect.
In 1965. They were walking away when Claudine was out. This is what I'm trying to make you understand.
I disagree.
I know you because you don't know shit either. You watch movies.
I do know shit.
Your understanding comes from movies. I'm telling you.
I'm not talking about
I can go back to people. I can go back to
you said a movie, and I was born in 1970. So in the 70s and 80s, it was plenty guys comfortable with being stepdads. I know plenty of them. I know at least 30.
I'm not talking about being a stepdad. Why you like? I'm not talking about being a stepdad.
No, well,
that's not what's cited from that movie. People don't say I don't want to be a stepdad because of Claudine.
No,
they say the government gonna kick you out your house because of Claudine.
No, sir. What happens, sir, is that people will say, y'all motherfuckers just talk about movies and music. No, I'm talking about lived experience and when those movies were supposed to be a big deal. During the time those movies were supposed to be a big deal, in real life, I could go to 90 people's houses and get flour and sugar. I could take a note to the fucking liquor store because the fucking liquor store owner was a black person. That's a real thing. So when I talk about these things, those are things that happen at the same time, truly. But in real life, there was some other things happening. That's why I talk about white flight. Then I talk about black flight. When black flight happened, all those black liquor store owners, restaurant owners, and all those other people went into the hills and separated from black folks. And now you got Arabs and Asians and who the fuck now, and it's a whole different thing. But I'm just talking about lived experience while those things were taking place, those particular movies. The 70s and 80s was mostly blaxploitation and kung fu movies, right?
You have not referred one time to what I actually said. You keep talking some stupid shit that I ain't said nothing about. What
you're saying that the movie Claudine was so influential that it made niggas stop being stepfathers. Is that not what you said?
That's what your stupid ass said, Nightish. What the fuck you talking about?
I'm saying that the most stepfathers, the most mentors, the most football coaches, the most black teachers, the most of these people was in the 70s and 80s and early 90s. They start being eliminated in the early 2000s. Do you disagree with that?
I disagree with the idea that
I'm going to say it again.
What I said.
Was black people actually a community and around in the 70s, early 80s, and 90s as teachers, as mentors, as restaurant owners, as liquor owners? That's what I'm saying. You just yelling at yell. I still love you, Taz, though.
I'm not yelling at you. There's people up here that have watched me break this shit down for 2-3 years. No, nigga. That's y'all belief watching stupid ass movies.
You're just yelling to yell. I'm not talking about movies. I'm talking about actual life, lived experience.
Right. I'm talking about actual life. There was no community. There was no community. But most of the community you saw was in a fucking movie like Claudine. There
No,
was
it
no
was in
community.
my actual life.
It was
It
heroin
was my
hell in the
lived
70s,
experience.
crack in
It
the
was my
80s.
lived
Oh my
experience.
God. Right. That's your personal experience, but take it outside of yourself and look around you.
Yes, look around me. When the crack epidemic happened, everything ended.
No, everything was going before that. They had already took the jobs out of black communities. The steel foundries was already closed. Literally, you have no benefit from
NAFTA
black women
happened
because
in
all
the
of these
90s.
things are closed. Now they start to let women on welfare. Now welfare becomes a fucking generational curse. I don't know what you're talking about. There's no
Right.
family structure in the 70s and 80s.
So I thought NAFTA happened in the 90s and at the fucking factories. I thought people was getting out of fucking high school going right to factory jobs in the 80s. I thought that shit didn't happen until like 92 or 93.
Right, you thought wrong. 70s.
Then I'm not thinking wrong because I know my actual family
70s.
members that went directly from fucking high school to the fucking factory jobs that was right by our fucking house. You didn't even have to go that fucking far. I literally saw fucking.
This is insane.
No. So that's cool. I hear
I
what
want to
you're
open
saying.
up the panel though, Nightish. We're not gonna have it just be you and Taz with a back and forth. You got a bunch of other people up here too who might want to chime in. Yeah, go ahead, Brown.
This is like, I think what Taz is saying is like that movie Claudine had the effects that like this Manafort shit is gonna have on generations going down. Like, yeah, like y'all might have started out and it might have been one way, but it got processed and digested a whole different way down the line. So you comparing it to your lived experience because you was alive when it came out. But Taz is talking about the only way he hear niggas reference or talk about the movie in the movie sound fucked up, or these niggas use that movie as a talking point to validate their argument, and it's not necessarily true in real life.
Is that accurate?
No. Yeah.
Go ahead, Taz.
No, she's right. That's what they use from that movie specifically. That's why I said Claudine. It's not accurate with history. I can't determine his lived experience, but what's said about that movie and the welfare system and whatnot. Yes, fam, these people have the history fucked up. This is why people run around saying they kicked my daddy out the house. That's why they're saying that. They've been saying it for generations.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
That's why I'm disagreeing. They may have said that, but your daddy was still around.
No. Let's just deviate away from movies. So, Taz, what periodicals or books can we look to, right, to validate the experience of blacks in America from the 60s, 70s, 80s, and I don't even want to do the 90s, right? Because we've been sitting up here talking about our granddads and great granddads. Yeah. The whole time. So what periodicals would you direct us to?
I mean, you can read any black newspaper. They talk about black families, like the Pittsburgh Courier and many other newspapers.
No, I have a couple that I'm looking at, but I'm saying, what book would you say that we should look at? Because I agree with you in terms of deviating away from.
Wait, you said no?
Yeah, but I'm saying because we use movies a lot of times. And I tend to lean on Nina Simone, who says the duty of an artist to reflect the times. And so I agree with Gordon Parks, right? When he depicts something. I agree with Spike Lee or John Singleton when they depict something that reflects our time. So now we're saying,
funny, you want the periodicals, but then when someone want to bring up was it Alice Walker who wrote The Color Purple? When people want to bring that up, then it's a problem.
Yeah,
not saying I'm trying to go down that way.
When have you ever heard me disagree with anybody bringing up The Color Purple?
That wasn't a factual book, though.
No, hold on, Willie, hold on, don't do that. No,
hold on. We tend to invalidate this.
No.
But if y'all don't use movies, right? We don't. Everybody don't know the same people, but everybody.
Correct. That's why.
Just an example to start.
Shut up, the dog. That's the point that I'm making. You typically use movies because it's a grounding point that everybody can point to and say, "Oh, I know what you mean when you say old dog in Color Purple." I mean, not Color Purple. My bad. Menace to Society.
Yeah, you got it right the first time.
You heard Color Purple. Cut it out, Tiff. When you say Menace to Society, and when I
paid in full.
No, not even paid in full. But if I invoke old dog, that's a character that resonates, and even Doughboy, That's a character that resonates for that time in the 90s, the time that me and Nidish grew up and came of age. All of us could relate to that,
But that's not
right?
as
We all
valuable as
can.
historical
Hold
fact.
on, Willie. Hold on, because I'm going mute in a second.
You say all of us
So
can?
now,
You know, I didn't grow up.
what I'm asking for, against what Doc is saying, respectfully, Doc, I'm just asking for. Tell me the book that I could lean to, that I could identify, and
Why
say,
would we be
okay,
leaning on
this
books?
is an accurate depiction that I need to read through for our period in history.
I'm trying to figure out why would it be in a book?
Well, because we don't want to use movies.
Yeah, we diminish the movie, so book.
Why can't we just use ourselves?
No,
Okay,
because
so
that's
then if we use,
anecdotal.
wait, yes, because
Why can't we
anecdotal
pass
was just
down, you
attacked.
know,
Tiff, because it's anecdotal and it
Because yes,
doesn't count.
anecdotal was just attacked. But let me ask this: because Chicago, how old are
it
you?
wasn't attacked.
I'm 52.
It was okay.
still
You're
have
52.
No, it made
Was
me
there ever a
different.
time, Chicago, you can go to a store with just a note and get food because your grandmother wrote a note?
Yes. I've
So
told the
how is that a
story.
movie?
I've told
When
the
I'm
story
talking about
before.
actual shit that's happening, and I talk
Nobody
about white
asked
fight
that
and black
though.
fight, that's an
No,
actual
no.
thing. So
But
when he
Taz,
talks
that's not
Nobody
what
about
I'm
asked that,
asking
Claudine
but
you.
you
as the
making up these
movie,
stupid-ass
my
scenarios
thing
that
is
ain't nobody
this is
asking
about
about.
what the
That wasn't the
70s
question.
were, what the
Motherfuckers
80s
go to the
were,
store
what the
today with a
90s
note,
were,
nigga.
and the man is
What you
Yeah,
talking
nigga,
about?
Taz. You
nigga.
win,
Taz, you
Taz.
So
ain't.
Rilla,
If
let
you
me
want to
answer
call
you,
me
right?
pussies and fags,
Wait,
whatever
I
wait,
the
ain't
hold
fuck
calling
on,
you
you
none
hold
of
want
on,
that.
to
I
do.
ain't
Willie.
calling you none
The
of that, nigga.
thing is
Don't
that
do that.
So
I ain't
let
the
me
calling
Okay,
you.
ask
wait.
you
ladies
Well,
some
and
I just
books,
want
right?
that's
Taz.
cool.
I just
That's
want
cool,
You
Taz to
asked
brother.
tell
for a
me the
Go
book,
ahead.
book
right,
that
Rilla?
we can
I would say
use.
the
Y'all,
souls of
anybody that
blacks.
want to say all that crazy
Hold
shit,
on,
y'all
hold
win.
on.
Because
Y'all
I
realize
don't
that
ever
the
Hold on,
want to
audience
hear.
Nadish.
cannot hear you when you
My
all
mic.
talking over each
Right.
Yes,
other,
ma'am.
right?
So
Y'all,
Rilla,
everybody on
I,
here has been on the panel before.
so Rilla, I would simply say if you asking for one book, right? I would say the souls of blacks is somewhere where you could begin. The only thing that gets left out in that, right,
Who's the
is
author?
that's W.E.B. Du Bois. But why I believe in focusing on the actual historical facts even more, because the souls of blacks leaves out the fact that W.E.B. Du Bois made a complete pivot on everything he stood on at the end of his life. That gets missed if you're just focusing on what's going on with the book. So if you're
Did you,
focusing on the actual historical
Willie?
facts,
Willie,
that
did you pay attention to this conversation we just had?
absolutely.
If you paid attention to this conversation that we just had, then you know that there's been a multi-generation. I think I've said from my great granddad to my granddad to this and the third, and then we use movie references to bridge the gap.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's
And
goofy.
well, that didn't suffice. And so if you tell me something about W.E.B. Du Bois, sorry, that's not tracking.
You asked me about a book. I gave you a specific book, The
Yes,
Souls of Blacks, right? But I'm
yes, to
saying,
connect in 2026.
but you're not letting me make the
Wait,
point.
but
The
hold
point
on.
is, if you only focus
2026,
on the book, if you
but
only
we've
focus on
been
the
in the
book,
50s, 60s,
you
and
don't
70s.
factor in the
I
historical
agree with you, Tiff.
facts.
That's what I'm saying. That was
Hold
this
on. You
that
don't
was the that was dismissed.
I ain't gonna take that long,
I
Rilla, I
agree with you,
promise.
Tiff. No, my
If
bad,
you only
Willie.
focus on the book, The Souls of Blacks, you don't understand the historical facts of what happened with WEB's life after. So I think it's more important to focus on the actual historical events. I don't think books or movies are the source that we should be focused on.
Bro, let me say this. Books and movies is not a source if you're talking about historical accuracy.
I
But
agree.
if we're talking of a conversation, bruh, sometimes we might make up a story as an example. So instead of making up a story for example, let's play a story that we all seen before so we could save some time and just have something to spark the conversation. I don't think nobody's arguing historical accuracy in all these movies. A lot of these
I
movies is
am.
fictional.
Yes, I am. I'm
That's got
definitely
to be a part of the
that. If
conversation.
anybody who know me knows that is the problem.
Yeah.
I listen to a bunch of dumb ass niggas who ain't read shit try to tell me our history. So when Rilla says, "Well, what book would it be in?" I don't know because these niggas read the dumb shit out of books. What we talking about? These niggas read this shit out of books. So you know what I'm saying? Like you have to have the desire to want to know the history, and I'm saying Niggas would rather repeat this shit than go and start tracking moments, tracking years, looking at real, actual documented history, not nobody's opinion, something documented. I don't think we want that as a
but
community. We
Taz,
like the
but Taz,
stories.
but Taz, they just having a conversation about some. I don't think that they're using the movie as historical references. That would be crazy. I don't think that is the
They
case.
are.
But then the
For example,
question
let me
is,
give you
what
an
are you
example,
doing?
DJ. Let me give you an example. Watch this. When niggas talk about the color purple, nigga, they act like them motherfuckers live for real,
Cut it out,
nigga.
Taz.
I'm
Nobody
just
invoked.
my nigga. That them niggas, really, them niggas act like the color purple really happened, nigga. For real,
They was
bro.
No,
color
that's
purple.
that's that's in other spaces. Nobody invoked that on this stage.
I ain't gonna lie. When I was young, I
Everybody
thought
don't like
roots was
getting
real.
hit. That's why
When
they
I
don't
was
like
young,
getting.
before I come to America, I thought I ain't gonna hold you. I thought roots was like
There
some
are
historic.
elements of all that. Taz tweaking. There's elements of all that that's real. Roots and
I
No,
think
but
movies
A
like
lot of
Roots
these
can be
dudes
but
was
not in a
valuable
Dr.
in
way,
Huxtable
putting
as
our
they,
story out there.
stepping daddy.
not in a
How
way
many
that
how
cats
many
tend to
dudes has
use
said
this
Dr.
in the
Huxtable was
manosphere
they
space.
stepping daddy?
No,
Say
that's a
what?
fact. The same way they looked at god doggone Carl Winslow. Yes.
yeah,
I
All
want
these
to
that was
TV
give
dads.
Brown
So
because
where y'all
Brownie
dads
was
at?
trying to tap in. I want to give Brownie a chance to speak. She has been quiet
Yes,
for a
ma'am.
while.
Oh, what's up, Brownie?
I was saying, that's the reason them niggas was mad when the newest Color Purple just got released a couple years ago. It was stream struck up. That's why they don't like that girl Haley Bailey right now because she was in the Color Purple. That was the first gripe against her. She was in the Color Purple, and then the shit happened with DDG. Them niggas mad.
I pull that back up, Candy Cane. Who
But
said
The
see,
thing
that?
sis, even
they
with that though, like certain stories like shouldn't even be touched. If I'm gonna even go with the book in the movie, right? Like recreating it and changing it,
I
it
knew
only
that.
convolutes the conversation even more. You'll
I
never
got
see
you
a
on bridle.
remake
I'm
of
on mute for
Schindler's
30
List.
minutes. I hope that helps. I'm on mute for 30 minutes.
You'll never see a remake of Schindler's List. You
you
won't.
might, you
Because
might.
in its original format, that is what
I
the
mean, I
small
don't know
hat
because a
community
lot of these
felt
people
was
are
a
turning
good
those
story
movies
to
into
promote that.
they
My
turn them
fault.
into
like they're turning into
historical
musicals.
pieces, and they
Yeah, so
can't
you
be.
might.
Yeah, they didn't recreate the story. The new Color Purple was a complete remake of the original movie. It was very different. I didn't like
Wasn't it
neither
more like a
one personally.
musical?
No, I'm
Well,
talking
the
about
original Color Purple was a
the
musical
movie.
too.
Yeah. Well, no, the remake movie was a musical. I see what sis is
Yes,
saying.
Tiff, you're
I
right.
see
It
what sis
was
is
it
saying.
was it was a
Because they
musical.
did the same thing with the Wizard of Oz. They made it a musical and call it Wicked. Like so, you never know. Schindler's List might just come up as a musical.
That wasn't a remake of the Wizard of Oz, though.
They gave us like a backstory.
Wicked was a very.
Between
I had race
Glinda
issues
and
with that. Right? Yeah, putting that black woman in there as a green lady, and she wants to change the color of her skin and all of that. Some of these movies can be more problematic than beneficial. So
well, I
you just
think
got
Pull
it's
to be
up,
more
Tiff.
careful.
symbolic than that, but that's not even the topic. Like I don't want to get off the topic here. Sorry, that's my bad.
Um, Willie, was you trying to go next? I know you haven't said anything really since you got on.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, to that conversation, when I brought up like the souls of blacks, that is a valuable source of history, right? But it doesn't tell a full story because 30 years after that, W.E.B. Du Bois is reversing on all of that. So I think what's more valuable is to know the actual history of these people and how these things played out, more so than a movie or a book.
I'm glad Unc just said this. Chicago, you were in the chat and you posted something, and I wanted to ask you a question on it. And this comment just reminded me of that. Non-select and low self-esteem men run to be stepdads if they under 35. The self-esteem part is what I want to talk about. Somebody, was it you, Chicago, that typed in something about us having low self-esteem? No, that was Coach Ferg. Never mind, my bad. Coach Ferg is not even here. Coach Ferg said that the millennial generation basically started with low self-esteem, and I was really trying to understand where that point came from, because like hearing y'all talk about, the Huxtables and fatherhood, and like it teaching you what
I have
good
no
families.
idea why we saying that. Why we having these conversations around
I disagree with
non-select
that
and
too.
low self-esteem. The cats that want to have seeds and what I'm saying, and raise families. Their positioning. Well, let me say this for me. I got three boys. Okay, my three boys are positioning themselves. They want to raise family. My son that my grandma, his great grandma, is immediately concerned about him. Like, you ain't rushing in, da 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 da. Right? He's very particular, and my youngest son is very particular. And two of my sons are married. They're very deliberate
Yeah,
and
that's what's up.
particular about bringing a seed into this world because they know what that means. That makes sense. So I don't understand what we talking about, fam.
I
What
think
the Go ahead, whoever that
I
is.
think theatrical things can have value, right? They can push a movement forward, push a doctrine forward, but it
You
doesn't
said
stop there.
theatrical.
Yeah. Like even if you move outside of blacks, right? Even if you're talking about Birth of a Nation, right? That is cited in
Well, that's
things that cause
Go
that's
ahead. Go
cited in
ahead.
things that cause Wilmington burning, right? So I'm saying even with black people, we can weaponize those same things in a different way. I
Yeah.
do think that A Different World was responsible for a lot of black kids looking at the college experience. It's
You're
just
right.
about how you use it. But I
I
think
want I wanted that experience when I was young and watching that. It was the reason I went
Well,
to college. Sure
right,
was one of them.
right. But I
is
think
that
once we
Candy?
get past
Yep.
that,
Yeah,
once we
but
get
this is
past getting
this is
people
this is the thing that I
involved,
tend to agree with
it's
y'all.
the
Just
history that matters.
no, no, Willie. This is the thing that I tend to agree with. Again, Nina Simone said the duty of an artist is to what?
Right.
Reflect.
I'm with you.
Reflect the time.
But it
A
it can't
lot
stop
of
there.
what you will hear, and I know Night is out of there, but what you
I'm
will
not out
hear,
of there. I'm perfectly woke. Don't do that to me.
my man. No, no, salute. So, no, brother.
Yeah,
I'm
but you
saying a
usually
lot of what
sleep,
you
old
hear us
nigga.
talk about is a reflection of the time that
Now
we
here we go with
lived
the old
in.
shit.
No, no, no. I'm
Chill,
serious.
Nighters. I'm messing with you. Chill.
It's a reflection of the time that we lived in. When we
Yeah.
look at the 70s and the 60s, we are absolutely assessing those times, Taz, but we're not taking cues from those times,
The
right?
problem, though, Rilla, is
Please tell
those
me the problem.
those theatrical things, right, are how people start to
I
preface
think
their
we are taking
arguments.
cues from those times, though.
So that is
And those
okay. So
arguments
let's
need
so
to be
let's dive
based
into
in
that. What
facts.
what will we be taking cues from? Because that's black exploitation area. Lord Jesus, era.
All of it, Chicago, all of
Yeah.
it.
So
Yeah.
we
All
took
of it.
cues from what, Nightish? We took cues and
So
emulated
for
that.
example, Run DMC started wearing leather jacket and dive hats. So you had people wearing Lee's leather jacket and
Nope,
dive hats.
nope,
Somebody said
nope,
my Adidas and people started wearing Adidas.
nope,
No,
nope, no, 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 no. We
Hold
no,
on,
talking
they
let
about
him
didn't.
finish,
movies.
Rilla. Let him finish, Rilla.
Okay, so
No,
let's
we
go
talking
with
about
movies.
movies because y'all
Nobody
saying
try. So
theatrical.
nobody. Cool.
Yeah.
So nobody try to look like Shaft. Nobody try to look like the Mac.
When the
Well,
Nobody
do the
try to
Malcolm
look
X
like
movie
Superman.
no,
came out,
Nightish.
everyone
Nobody
This
was
had no
wearing
perms.
excess.
Nobody was
no,
walking
no,
around
no,
here with curls in their
no,
hair.
no, no,
Nobody did
Nightish.
none of
That's not
these
what I'm
things.
saying. Where did those movies get their cue from? Those movies didn't. Again, the duty of an artist is to reflect the times. So if you tell
Right.
me about Shaft,
No.
then I'm
Chicago,
at
I'm not disagreeing with you.
okay.
I'm saying that art can imitate life,
Mad at no
and then
scrubs.
life can imitate art. That's all I'm saying.
I get that
And the
point.
Well,
thing is this. So what I'm
let's
saying is, so like that lady said, she looked at a different world and that made her want to go to college. Then back then we was wearing what African medallions because of the
That's a
hip hop
fact.
videos. We started wearing kente cloth and
But
all that other stuff. So when I'm saying these things and people try to
mm,
diminish it and go, oh no. And I say I agree with both. It was a bunch of coward dudes, and there was a bunch of dudes that was getting locked up and deleted.
So my only issue, Nidus, is the follow through, right? It can't just end with wearing an X cap and going to see the movie. Now you have to have that hunger to go hear the Ballad of the Bullet speech and apply the actual
But that was happening during
historical
that
events.
time, though. Chill, Will.
Literally.
That was
So
my
that,
point,
that
though. I'm saying, yes, there can be a beneficial element of it, but it has to be weaponized very purposefully. And I'll give Spike that with that one movie. Spike has other movies for me that are very problematic. But with the X movie, yeah, I do think it intrigued people to learn more about Malcolm's speeches and be able to know more about his history. If that's how it's being implemented, then nah, I ain't shooting at it. But like, I don't see that coming from like a color purple. I don't see that.
It was some dudes that had some money that was hitting your grandmama upside the head.
See what I'm saying? Nidus, leave my grandmother out of this, man.
Maybe not your
men and women are a real
grandmother.
thing. That's crazy. Shout out April.
But you get
No,
my point, though,
and
Nidus. It's about the follow
but
through.
chill, Will. This is what I'm saying. The whole conversation has been around up to now, right? About not using movies, right? So that's what I'm saying. The cultural references. I'm saying the cultural references is a reflection of what was going on in real time.
I got you. Here's the other problem with that, right?
The 5% is well a real
Hold
thing.
on, but look, but here's the problem where we can get misdirected. When
Shout out to
Black Panther
Hustling Mo.
comes out and we playing djembe
You went
and
way.
wearing pentacloth, and then we find out that Marvel was one of the biggest contributors to the Donald's campaign. Did we do ourselves a
Well, was it
favor
Marvel
or
or
an
was it
injustice?
Disney?
I think it was Disney, but I'm not sure about the Marvel part of it.
Right.
Here's a,
And
here's
so
a,
again, this is
here,
why. Go ahead, Nidish. My bad.
oh, go ahead. You go ahead. Chicago.
No, only thing I was gonna say to Miss Candy Cane was that's why I was asking for books because we're saying, hey, let's not use cinematic references. Okay, cool. I agree with you. Let's not move. Let's not use no documentaries, no movies, no none of that. Right?
But
Let's use books. So now I'm
here's the
asking for
thing
yes, ma'am.
about not using the visuals. I understand what Taz is saying because he's saying
Mm-hmm.
y'all lock into what happens in movies too much, and these movies,
Agreed.
while they star us, they're not written usually by us. You
Agreed.
have white directors with agendas and all of these things that
I
people
know
want to say is
Premature.
happening with
Yeah, I
Hollywood,
agree.
right? I
Look at
understand the
sinners.
point,
Yeah.
but how else would we
Sinners.
get to a point to, huh?
Wall Street Willie said sinners. I said Otto Preminger. I was talking about Dorothy Dandridge, but go ahead.
How else would we get to the point where like Taz, give me a better way to show a visualization, right? If I say I want to show an interaction between different generations and how like to tie into my whole conversation, this was about multi generations, right? And each one of the things, each generation, what they may have gone through and how they relate to all of the remaining generations or the generations that came before. So how else would you show that if we aren't supposed to use easily identifiable, easily digestible references?
Yeah, I mean, I'm dumb. I try to do it with newspapers and things that were actually around, the primaries. So, I mean, I know that's kind of
But
stupid to
see, I know,
do.
no. But
Like,
see, but you coming from a historian like Taz, like when you do it, I understand why you do
He's
it the way
gonna
that you
use the
do because
defender and everything. Taz, cut it
Yeah,
out, man.
Taz got to cut it the fuck out. Taz, make up your mind, brother. Are you the
I'm
historian
with
or not?
you.
nah, bro. Like, no, I'm saying, like,
I'm
I'm
with
telling
you.
the truth though. I
Yes,
think
sir.
we are like, if we talk in history,
Mm-hmm.
anybody who's not reading an old newspaper, where are they getting that from? Some story they heard. We can't trust that. And all I'm saying is there hasn't been a focus on accuracy for our stories. So while it may be great to see a movie set in the 1870s, I might not like it because it's inaccurate. We need accuracy.
But
We
see,
don't need
here's
just
the difference. I'm not going back to 1870. I'm going back to like the movie we're showing is what from the 50s or 60s. The
Yeah,
people
something like
who I
that.
can go to for a reference on the accuracy of this are still alive today.
Yeah,
What's
yes.
the
now,
what's the
now
Dorothy
what now
Dandridge
what
movie?
the
Carmen.
accuracy on what? Because
Uh,
I'm saying, and you know somebody can get mad, whatever. You talking about
mhm.
accuracy from uneducated niggas?
Yeah, yeah, yes.
Partially.
I'm
And
And
the
I'm saying, because
majority of us,
That's
I'm saying
problematic.
the dumb shit they tell you can be debunked a lot of times.
yeah, yeah. And I'm saying the majority of us is dumb motherfuckers. So it is what it is.
Yeah, but we ain't gotta be dumb though. We
Right.
don't have
So
to listen to
so
these
so
old stories and take them verbatim. We can actually look into some of these things and start to understand that maybe it is just urban legend, story passed down. This is what people have always believed, and it wasn't challenged.
right. So do you
Some
disagree
of
that
it.
WB Du Bois problem with the talented
Mm,
tenth is that they abandoned their people? They went and
No,
got educated, got their money, and they said, fuck. Excuse me, F them people.
No.
mm.
no, I don't agree with that. There's a lot with that talented tip issue, but again, I think if you talking to just regular people, like how do you feel
But I'm
about
talking to
W.E.B. Du Bois?
you.
Right, right. And I'm saying I can sit here and give you a 2 hour conversation based on history.
Right.
There, how
Well,
else we gonna get it?
So the D9 is not the bourgeoisie. They are not
Boule.
engaged
That's not
in
the
communities and
conversation.
bootleg and they
Well,
separated from us.
just to respond. Historically speaking, no, they would be your original
Mm,
voice. They would be part of your original voice. Now they're the
yeah.
boule because niggas done made it.
Yeah.
What we talking about?
Oh, I got questions for you,
And
Taz.
the problem is
I'm just
without
saying, man.
understanding
No,
that
no, you
Hey,
right. I just
the
got
problem
questions.
is
I'm saying
without
my own
understanding that
curiosity. I got
WEB
questions now.
went to Fisk, right? A
Yeah.
black university, without understanding that there was the whole massacre in Atlanta, right? And his wife wanted him to get up out of there. You can't even put that book about the souls of blacks in the context, right? Because
Wait,
you
what
do have to
happened in
understand at
Atlanta?
the end of all of that, what's not written in that book is WEB made an about face on that. He had a
you talking about
very
1906, I think.
Yeah, he had a very different opinion. You get what I'm saying
The
when he
the massacre
passed.
in Atlanta. That was where did that occur, Taz?
1906.
No, no,
In
I'm saying
Atlanta.
not when, but where. Is that Auburn
You just
Ave? Is
said
that
Atlanta.
Oscarville?
Atlanta.
You just said
I don't,
Atlanta.
No, 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 no,
now
no, no,
I
no.
can't
I'm
do the
asking
greater
specific.
Atlanta with you
Okay,
though.
thank you. I'm
Yeah,
asking
I know what you
specifics.
mean, but I
Thank you,
don't know.
thank you. Okay, okay, thank you, brother.
okay. So what about this question that's on the screen?
Okay.
We have to look into who writes the news, who
Yes.
writes the history.
Yeah.
That's right, the victors. If you're reading that, could that be hearsay too? Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, yes.
No, I don't agree.
Because you got the
This
Chicago Defender and the Atlanta. Oh, damn, I forget the
that's
name of
what
that.
people have said, and again, this is
Okay.
why I hate dumbass niggas movie watching motherfuckers, because
Stop,
that's what
stop,
they'll
Taz.
say to prevent from reading. No, I'm just telling you the real. That's how they
Damn.
prevent reading. That's how they say, well, don't read nothing. Don't read the actual history. Take
Because
this
it's not
fucking
true.
story I'm about to tell you. Believe me when I tell you this story that I don't have a source for. That's where that comes from.
What's
So
more
to the
beneficial
victors,
is
the
going through that
spoils don't
history
go.
with a fine tooth comb.
No, not in history. No, that again, these are talking points. If we talk in reality, we've told our own history.
Mm.
Yeah.
Black people told our history. Do you want to hear it? Do you want to
Yeah.
see it?
Mm.
No,
Yeah.
Chicago. I literally watched Taz channel and I literally watch the stuff that
Me
he
too.
shows. So when he says this stuff right here, he goes wacko because that's his thing, that's his niche. I just let him rock out. Fuck it, he
How am
got
I
it.
I mean,
doing wacko?
No, no, you Gucci
I
Taz.
don't think that you're going wacko. I will say though, for the purpose, like I get it, Taz. Like again, the only way that I know how to show a depiction, and I'm telling you, like the story that I show with the fences, while it's not the exact
Mhm,
story of my family, I can
mhm,
relate to it because of the
mhm.
Yes,
accurate storytelling from the person still alive to tell the story, and it related to that. That's why I
yes,
showed it. And I
yes.
Yeah,
think
but when
other
we
Oh,
deal
that's
with that
dope.
conversation from an aspect of it all being hearsay, you got to understand there were Rayford Logans at that time who were combing through that information to give us our truth, right? So it's not all hearsay. There were black people that were literally putting in work then. And shout out to my man Taz for
Yeah,
putting
you
in work now.
undermine the work of Ida B. Wells and many other black
Right,
journalists
right, right,
historically
right,
when you
right,
say
right.
shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, because I'm not saying
That's
go
why I
grab
said
any
Chicago
white.
Defender.
Yeah, I ain't saying go grab any white newspaper and repeat what's in it, but don't undermine newspapers.
Correct.
Mm.
Because a
And there's
lot of
one in
those
Detroit. I
newspapers
forget
were
the
black.
Detroit. I think it's Detroit Free Press. And then I forget. I think Atlanta. It's Atlanta Voice or something like that. But those are the three that I know because those are the three cities that I've lived in
Rilla,
and
Alexander
I'm familiar with.
Manley wrote an editorial that facilitated Wilmington burning. We did have our
Reese
own
Cup, cut
newspapers.
that
We
out.
were telling our own history.
Leave Reese alone,
I bet you
Chicago.
don't know what was in that editorial though, little nigga.
He said, yeah, you white boys coming down
That's
to
ain't
our
shit.
communities, right? Like
No,
patronizing it. Come
no,
on, Taz.
no,
Yo,
Don't give
nigga,
me
Doc
no,
ain't
love.
nigga,
shit.
no.
Which Doctor ain't
Just a
shit?
quick historical record. Wilmington burned because that man actually had the audacity to tell a white woman, "We don't want y'all."
Hey,
Yeah.
wait. Was this the
And the
whole
audacity of you white boys
1919,
claiming
the
we want
summer
them when
No,
you
uh
this
coming here to
18,
buy our
this
women.
this
Yeah, that's North
1896.
this not
Williamson,
the
North
summer of
Carolina.
red.
Yeah,
Okay.
No,
yeah.
this is 1896.
Okay.
The
Wilmington, North
only
Carolina.
actual coup in U.S. history. They ran black politicians up out of the state. I'm saying,
No. Listen, Willie, we was cowards and we was scared and we never revolted and we never
see,
fought
that's
back
that's
and
a bad
none of this
argument.
other
Well,
Not
bullshit.
never, not never. But them 50s niggas was soft. I ain't gonna say never, but them 50s niggas was soft. Let's get to it, bro.
See, you
wait.
don't
Oh,
Who
hear
was
no,
the
no.
this,
I
nigga.
understand about when
See,
they got into the heroin and needed methadone and all that. Listen, I look at the damn channel, brother. Come on, cut it out.
wait?
Cause
Who
you
was
know I
soft
got smoke
ass?
for niggas like Neely Fuller. I don't like niggas like that. Like niggas
Okay.
who was there back then come
Hmm.
back now and tell us we ain't shit, we weak. We're appear to be weak because when you were our age, you ain't do shit.
Yeah.
You didn't do nothing. So now you come back and tell us white supremacy has its foot on your neck and you'll never be shit. Why?
the
Because you ain't shit.
audacity.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's kind of fucked up, bro.
Hey,
That's why, like I
but
said, I
Taz,
don't.
when you let
Go
me
ahead,
ask
go
you
ahead.
this though, when you assess, right? Especially when you doing the coverage on the Carmelo Anthony case, man. Like I don't have no like I can't disagree too much with the
That's the
assessment.
What
problem.
do you okay, so Chicago, what do you agree with then?
Yeah, the very fact that some people I would just not want to live in community with, fam. The idea that
What do you
You're
understand
saying it
that
about
four?
Carmelo?
Do you understand it was more than just the two brothers? There was like four people trying to jump on that man.
yeah, all of that. Yeah, all of that. Shout out to Stanley. Yeah, all of that.
No, not shout out to Stan Shi.
Cut it
Let
out.
Stan Shi
Shout out to
rest in her
Gas Man. Yeah,
femininity.
shout out
Rilla,
to
you don't think
Gas
it's
Man.
gross how hard certain black men are going
I just
to
think
bury
it's.
that boy? You
I
don't think
think.
that's
I
gross?
think we have. Man, listen. Shout out to New Era Detroit. Right. I look at some of where we have regressed as black men. I look at some of the stances that Taz takes, and Nightish is right. I'm over there too. And Witch Doctor, no, like I admire his commentary too, regardless of what.
Can I say this one thing
Yes,
before I
sir.
did, bro? Because of this space, like a red pill manosphere space, a lot of dudes in this space got conservative views, right? And
Facts.
with that being said, a lot of dudes say shit so they could get cool points with other conservative people, i.e.,
Oh
I'm not
And
I'm
you
not
ain't
like the
calling
rest
none
of
of that
them.
out, Rilla.
But they
no,
like
but
My
no,
I'm
no,
good
not.
no,
brother.
no. But I'm saying
Wait,
the
wait,
doc
let
is
let
not
him
with none
finish,
of
Let me
that.
Willie.
just say
Let
this
him
because I
Yeah,
finish,
know the
Willie.
slide, right?
yeah. Salute,
A lot
doc.
of black people, every time an issue with black people arise, they try to take the side of, oh, I'm not like the rest of them. So they don't even try to give their own kind a chance. You know what I'm saying? This shit is crazy. Like, I'm actually about to talk about some of that shit probably sometime later on this week. But that shit is crazy because no other race of people be doing no shit like that. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
They go from making arguments for Mr. Chow right, about him being overcharged, and it was
Nah, you
okay
ain't hear what Doc
that he
say.
beat
And if
that
you really
cage.
listen, if you really listen to Doc, Doc say, "Hey man, I ain't standing in y'all way. Whatever y'all got going on with that FBA and this, that, and the third, wooty woo, just understand my position, fam. Right? And so that's what I'm saying for Doc. I always agree. He's always willing to have the conversation from a genuine perspective. And it's just annoying to me how many underread. Oh my gosh, I'm squeezing my eyeballs out right now, man. How many
Come
people?
on, brother,
And
man.
no, I'm saying
Yo, Rilla,
men,
we was just in observation of that happening, Rilla.
spineless.
We just watched it.
Yo. Oh yeah,
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 I ain't
yeah,
gonna
yeah,
go
yeah,
there,
yeah.
but you know what I'm
Yeah,
talking
yeah, yeah,
about.
yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah. I don't want
come
to name
on,
nobody
man.
else channel, but salute to you, Doc. Salute to you, Doc. I'll be over there in a second, man. Salute to Taz always, because fam always bringing it. And salute to Candy Cane. Candy Cane is a gem, a gem.
Well, thank you, Chicago.
No,
Thank you. I be
seriously,
trying
you
up
are
here with these
absolutely a gem.
panels.
No, Chicago, I'm trying to figure out some kind of way to kick Taz behind for saying goofy stuff to me today. My feelings was hurt. So I'm trying to figure out
I
some
don't
kind of
believe
way
that.
to
Well,
come
you
over
just
there
ain't
and
like what
say
he
some
said
mean.
about
No,
fences and
no, no.
James
I'm
Earl
finna come over
Jones.
there and find some mean ways to say some mean shit about him too.
You must have been cooning.
Well, no, Taz do the pre-recordeds now. It's hard to catch him on the
I'll
because
catch him live one day.
because he do the
I
pre-recordeds
go
now.
live in the mornings now, though. I be live in the morning, but not in the evening too much.
Nah, I be peeping it, fam. I be peeping it, man.
I did not like it. I did not like what just happened to me. Go ahead, sir.
So, Rilla, let me ask you:
You
is
got to
there
come
more of
over and
an
fight with me
interest
on the
in
panel.
knowing our accurate history, or
Wait, say it again.
is
My
there
bad,
more of
Will.
an interest, right, in these YouTube spaces in learning our actual history as
No,
opposed to just having
I'm a
uninformed comments on current
man.
issues?
Y'all beat me down so much, man. I'm Nightish know my heart. I'm for my people, and I am a hopeless diehard for my people.
This ain't on you, big bro. I know
so
I
you
look,
love
know.
so
too.
look. This is what I'm
Solid.
saying though, y'all. I think most black people think they already know history. That's why there's no need
Oh,
to
I see what
continue
you're
to
saying.
study and look for new and things you haven't heard because it seems like most black people think they already know,
That's crazy talk, though,
having done
Taz.
no studies.
Yo, Taz. Let me tell you. For me personally, I'm saying I'm so into it. I'm hooked on estate sales right now. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Oh
Uh,
yeah,
when I go to estate sales, it's almost like I'm a steward of that. I consider myself an archivist, right? So it's not just about collecting black art. When I go, I'm specifically looking for vinyl, art, and books. Right? Those are the three things that I'm looking for. And you could tell a lot about a person by their library. You understand what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And
hmm
oh my gosh,
As I
man.
want you to take a look, Beige Live Matters is asking to
I
get out,
agree.
get unblocked on your channel.
beige lives matter.
Yes, they said one of your hating ass groupies in your chat blocked me for preaching the gospel. I think they want to be
That was
Yeah, I
me.
wonder.
free.
I mean, every now and then they're sneak and block a motherfucker. They ain't really supposed to be blocking nobody, but I'll unblock you. I got
No,
you.
keep him blocked. And
That's
Stancy,
a
you still
dude.
my daughter.
That's a man.
And I'm actually
Beige
going
God.
lives
to be
matter. Yeah.
ending the stream, y'all, here
Okay.
shortly.
Yes, ma'am.
I
Yes,
really
ma'am.
appreciate everybody coming up, giving your perspectives. Even if we don't agree and don't see eye to eye, I will always tell you,
Mhm.
like I like hearing your whys. And I thought, like this whole conversation, the reason we're here today to talk about this topic was because I had a conversation over the weekend with a friend of mine who is a Gen Xer, and she has Gen Z kids, and she was just talking about how they worried about raising their kids and not doing enough for the kids, and like all of the fears that come with being a parent, raising your kids, and trying to do the best you can with what you had, and then turning around and you look at these kids today and they have so many complaints of still what you didn't do right. It's like I don't know. It just I just thought that it would make sense to kind of have a conversation with
from them not knowing
say
their true history. It
yeah.
becomes easy
Yeah,
for them
yeah,
to
but
look at different, black leaders and say, "Oh,
no
I got a
chill
beef
will.
with
That's
him. He
on
sold
us.
us out."
If you listen to what Candy just said, and I don't know if you Gen X or a late millennial, but I'm just saying as a Gen X, I take all that on the chin.
But
That
no, she's
that
not
that
talking
is
about
a
us though.
gripping fear for me, Miss Candy Cane.
But she
About,
wasn't talking about us, right? She
no, no,
referred to the
no. She was
kids.
saying about a conversation she was having with Gen Xers and they're in the way that they're raising their children and their
Children.
concerns. And
Right.
yeah, and what I'm saying is like I think Gen X, we on deck. So you can't if you Gen X, you can't sit up there and say, oh, it's the boomers' fault. Oh, it's the
I
silent
think a
generation fault.
failure of
I
our
agree. I agree
generation
with
to
that,
teach
Willie.
the
Yeah, you
I
real
gotta
agree with
accept that
that.
on the chin.
I
And
think a
Taz, when
failure
I
of our
said that,
generation to teach real history to our kids allows
all that,
them
I hear
to
you. And all of
demonize
that.
some of our greatest
And
leaders.
all of that. And when I said that, there's another gentleman that Taz had a whole argument with. That's a founding minister person that said otherwise, right? That Generation X is not to blame.
But here's the thing, Chicago, and I hope you understand what you said and what Candy Cane said. Gen X even give a fuck. Silent generation wouldn't even have this conversation. They
Oh
would
no,
tell
no,
you
no, no,
shut the
no.
fuck
You
up.
1000%. You
So
right.
so
Stay
Gen
in a
X,
child's
the
place. You
fact
right.
that Gen X is
You
saying
right.
that they're concerned about what their kids think is concern. You
Agreed.
understand what I'm saying? So that's all I was saying from the get-go. It is a completely different thing, and it's sometimes it be conflation. Now the boomers was the spoiled ones. My boomer aunties and uncles don't care nothing about this. They think we talk too much. They if they heard this conversation right here, oh y'all crying.
Yeah, because you're supposed
And
to
they
stay in
the
a child's
spoiled
place.
ones.
Yeah, a child you supposed to be seen and not heard. You right. You right.
I can't really consider black
So
boomers
shout out to my
spoiled.
daughter Stan She for being in the chat, trying to have a whole conversation with me that I'm not gonna have because I'm on Candy Cane channel.
I'm just
And
saying
shout out to everybody else.
if we
Thank you,
had a
Candy Cane. I'm gonna
better
drop down, man. Hey,
understanding
Yeah,
salute
of
yeah.
our
y'all. I love
history.
y'all, fam. Salute all
Yeah,
y'all,
yeah.
man.
Y'all
For real,
be
for real.
great. I love all of
Please
y'all.
All
come
right,
back.
Especially
Willie.
Taz.
Appreciate you coming through for sure.
Sub Rock, I'm a holler.
Hey, Nightish. The next time I drop that link, I expect you to be there trying to argue with me about this motherfucking history. Yeah, I know.
Don't get
Where
You
did
don't
quiet
want that.
now.
Yeah.
he drop? He dropped. Nightish. I know you heard that, Nightish. You got a personal challenge issue to you.
Nightish ain't coming over there, man.
Nah, he be there. I be seeing him in the chat, but he ain't. That nigga ain't trying to argue no history for real. That. See,
Man,
I know he know better. Like it sound good.
I
I
agree.
think we kind of be on repeat. But nigga, I ain't saying nothing. I can't show you a lot of
Nah.
our history ain't as pretty as we like to dress it up. I just say it like that.
anybody want to start the final words? Tiff, Brownie,
Hell no,
Willie.
we in the building. What are we doing? Why we gotta leave?
Um, well,
Well, you trying to get this party started? We trying to turn up on a
Y'all
Monday?
hit the
Is it?
cash app, $ Candy Cane Lane. Show support.
Are you taking
see,
my
the
baby?
conversation kind of has
Oh,
twisted and turned a few different ways, and again, like, I mean, what do you think about the multi generational divide? That's what I'll call it, divide. Because right now, like my whole point was Gen Alpha and Gen Z are rejecting pretty much everything that the older generations live by. The traditionalism, the um, going to work, working 80 hours or 40 hours or however many hours to make money to pay the bills, like they're doing gig work. It's like they feel like we gave too much into the system. We played into the matrix and they want to burn it down.
mm-hmm.
And I understand the sentiment, but I just like at the same time that they're saying all of this, they're living off of their Gen X and Boomer family members and millennials.
Can I say
So
something
like
to
you,
that? I'm
yeah,
sorry.
go ahead.
I think okay. I think when it comes to things like that, when generational things, the boomers were a very greedy generation. And the things that are happening now come from things that happened down the line. Like these aren't things that were created in the 90s. A lot of the stuff was written in history and predetermined back then. And then, so like you have your children, like the boomers, they got their kids, and then they got their kids. And now houses cost crazy amounts of money when they was paying $5,000 for a house. We gotta pay $500,000 for a house. Like, so the way they kind of screwed, they didn't have the future generations in mind to make sure that things went and operated a certain type of way. Now, like everything was better back then, and now we enter in late stage capitalism, and everything sucks. And they were living in
Okay.
such a time where there was abundance, and they put those same expectations to succeed on their kids that they had, but they did less for more.
I can't put all that smut on Gen X's though. I think it's the focus on certain portions of history, right? Like even when Rilla brought up books, another one of those books is they came before Columbus, right?
Mm.
So sometimes those books can create goofy ass arguments that people build off of, right? So I did have to come to the conclusion that yeah, more direct focus on our actual history is kind of what our future generations are missing. That's why they demonize Malcolm. That's why they demonize WEB. That's because they don't really know the history. They don't know WEB had to run back to Atlanta to go get his family. He ain't even know if they was alive because there was a massacre going on. If you understand those things, then you can understand the context of how those leaders were operating. And a book just ain't gonna give you. Books are valuable. You know, I mean, I'm not a diploma phobe, right? Books are valuable, but there does need to be more of a focus on our actual history. Because once you really start to look at that, for me, a lot of other things make sense. You could even bring it all the way up to the Carmelo trial. A lot of stuff starts to make sense when you really understand the factual history.
Y'all talking like Carmelo already been like found guilty or some shit.
Man, that's how the streets got me feeling, man. I've been, you know, I'm riding for the
Like,
Lord.
God damn.
Man,
Let's
man.
wait on the verdict, man. I don't even think he got a bad case right now. Niggas been already crashed out, said it's over, gave up,
Yeah.
went and
I
got the
haven't
rope. Like, damn.
I haven't even spoken on the whole Carmelo thing because I don't like the fact I don't think that this was a race based thing. I think this was kids involved in this issue, and I think the world wants to make it a black versus white thing. Even though there were two different races of people involved, I don't think that he stabbed him because he was white. That's why I'm saying
Right.
the whole Gen Z doesn't. They will tell you they don't even see color and race the same way the older generations do. They blame us for racism. They say we're the ones that keep it alive and keep it going because we focus everything on race. And so
Mm.
I
That's because they don't know
it's
their
what they
history.
that's what they say. That listen, I done had conversations with a few different. I'm not even just talking blacks. I'm talking black, Latino, and white Gen Zers.
Mhm.
Um, so I haven't really said too much on this case because I want to see it play out and see what happens with it. I don't even know all of the details because I kind of half-heartedly followed it. It really makes me sad because at the end of the day, I look at it like I'm not looking at it like, yeah, the black guy got punked by the white guy and so he killed him. Like some of these people I hear are celebrating that. I'm like, y'all do realize that we're talking about children, right? Like we're still talking about kids. I'm never going to celebrate the death of a child for any reason like that. So it's just it was kind of like I've had to kind of check out of some of these conversations because I think they're using these children as stand-in avatars for them fighting Whitey, and that's not what this was.
Damn.
That's
I can't
valid
back
point.
against that. That's a fact.
Right.
That's a fact.
Valid point.
All right, Candy, I'm gonna leave, man, because I'm like shit. I was gonna start a stream from here and everything. We're gonna get locked in, but it's cool. I'll go ahead and leave. Have a good night, y'all.
Good night, Taz. Please come back. And appreciate you coming through
no doubt.
as always.
For sure.
Hey, Stanley.
Man, F Taz.
Hey there.
That's my big bro.
The specific reason I came up here was to talk about this generational argument is literally about feelings. Kids have been, kind of talking about, the bad things or the failures of the previous generations.
Yeah.
But the one thing because I think it's a canard, and I honestly think that Black millennials acting like the only thing that their Black parents or grandparents had in common with white boomers is the age. Black people back in those days did not have the economic power, the political power, the social power. Most of the boomer generation, Black people, in that age cohort, they lived in Jim Crow. So it literally is sheer ignorance, in my opinion.
I agree.
Hearing millennials talk about, the boomers. No. Generational wealth in 2026 in the whole of the Black demographic versus the white demographic, 10 times smaller. What money should we be giving? And I'm not a boomer, but I'm at 1965, so I'm right on the edge. What money? 10 times less wealthy. The only coincidence is that Black boomers are the same age as the white boomers. And let me tell you one other thing. Cannot remember the name of the author. Wrote a book about boomers and all the failures and stuff. In his preface, he literally says, I'm not talking about Black people. It's a white author saying Black people
Had a different
in that age cohort, no, they weren't controlling America. They didn't have the economic, the social, the political power. So in a way, the argument that the Gen Zers want to go, well, boomers or Gen X invented racism, go back and read your Constitution. Okay, we did not invent racism. The country's fundamentally racist from its Constitution on up. So people like DeSantis who want to talk about patriotic education and all this silliness, it's Black erasure. And I'm not even like what you would call a Black radical or anything like that, but it's Black erasure. They do not want American history taught the way it should be.
correct.
And millennials who want to talk about, the boomers did this and they didn't give us money. Black people really, and Willie, I know you and I have had our differences, but not on this.
We on the same side.
Black people are the conscience of America. We owe it to ourselves, just to ourselves, to be smarter than these DeSantises and Trumps of the world.
So Stanley,
We
do you
need to
think
know, we need to hold on one sec. We need to know American history better than anyone because
You
we
just
have
answered my
suffered.
question.
We have suffered because of it. All of it.
Mhm.
When America catches a cold, Black people catch the flu. So I'm done with my little soliloquy. Sorry for taking up so much time, but I'm kind of, kind of a centrist politically, but I believe strongly in this because of the way I was raised. Black people need to know American history and Black history because Black history is American history and vice versa.
I agree.
Agreed.
We need to learn how to read books.
Do you think, Stanley, that the benefit in our children not knowing the actual factuals of Black history and having to get some of that history from Color Purple, right, creates the arguments
Alice
that they're
Walker is
using
not a
now?
historian. Alice
Right? No, I
Walker's
get
not a
that. I get
historian.
that. I get that. I'm saying, do you think that leads to a lot of misguided
No.
millennials making the
You,
arguments they're making now?
you know what? I think it's literally the American education system. Now, let me tell you a little bit about how I grew up. I went to the proverbial, I went to the proverbial Catholic schools. I was high academic, mostly white. The only reason I know as much as I do and where I got the appetite for it was my mother, who was a history buff. I learned more about Black history through high school than I ever did at school because they didn't teach it. Black history starts at home because American schools will not teach it. And I didn't even
Well,
go to public schools.
that's partially true and partially not though, because like we were talking the other day, 18th and I in Chicago, there was a focus to like the teachers individually themselves chose to teach the history. So like there was a in the time when we were growing up and going through school, there was a like a high pro black history, pan Africanism. Like they taught us that in school.
Can
Um,
I can I make can I get your
Whoa,
point?
where? I never learned
Chicago.
that
Can
in
I
school.
hold on?
I learned
I
that from my
get your
parents.
point. I get your point, but Chicago is not Black America. I grew up in Savannah, Georgia, and it's a whole nother show about where the locus of Black culture is. It's not in Chicago. So I don't mean to be offensive, but I'm glad you had a good experience. But in the South, in Florida, where they literally had a problem with AP African American Studies, you were lucky growing up in Chicago. Most Black people live in the South.
Yeah.
I
I
agree.
can't argue that.
I think a lot of the Black history that they do teach is extremely watered down and biased and framed in a certain manner. Like even now, like I saw something a couple of years ago where they changed slaves to indentured servants.
That's a newer thing though. They're intentionally doing that.
But they've been intentionally doing it. It's been intentionally being switched and watered down and changed over time.
And it's been effective. I
Well,
think
look,
that's where a lot of the arguments that our younger generations are making are coming from. A lack
they
of
don't
knowledge.
look, they can barely read. Look, I got my son turned 20 today, and this dude took like all kinds of AP history and English courses and stuff. He's at a really good university right now. I think that motherfucker. Sorry, I think I think that young man is illiterate. He made all A's in English and stuff, but he's illiterate. And I'm being a little hyperbolic, but
Break it
they don't
down.
even they don't teach English like they did even to Gen X. They don't read whole books. If you go online, there are Harvard professors say that hey, kids coming into Harvard aren't good readers.
Mm-hmm.
And that's supposed to be the elite of the elite. It all starts at home. And look, if we and this is all kinds of
Well, they
different
do say if
shows.
you want to go back to school, the time is now because they said it's easy, and I think that's
Look,
kind of sad.
I think the most important thing we can teach our kids is learning doesn't stop even in college. You always have to be reading because history stuff. You'll read somebody like a Gerald Horn, and there's stuff in 2026 that we know that we didn't know 30, 40 years ago. Thomas Jefferson and Sally Hemings, Annette Gordon Reed wrote the Hemingses of Monticello, and all these old school, like venerated white historians were just like castigating the woman. Like, oh, you went too far. 2 years later, she literally was absolved because of genetics. When she wrote the book, she just did it through history and records and talking to people. She was proven right by science. Had it not been for the science, it would still be controversial. No one doubts that Sally Hemings and Jefferson, produced kids. No one does. The first person to do it was a Black historian from Houston, Texas, with who's a lawyer and a PhD historian teaching at Harvard right now. Won Pulitzer Prizes. She is a venerated historian. Doesn't matter black or white. She broke ground, and she didn't even need science to do it. She just followed the clues. All I'm saying is that, well, my point is there's new history learned all the time. So stop. Your grandpa's history is not 2026 history. So that's my point. I'll land here.
I'm from Virginia, and specifically tying into your story that you were talking about with the time, like with the Jeffersons. I am from, I worked at the McDonald's across from where George Washington grew up.
Oh, really?
So
from Mount Vernon.
Yeah, so in that area.
Well, I'm very familiar with Northern Virginia. I lived up there. You know where Warren County is in the front Royal area? I lived up in the mountains for almost 20 years. So I know Fairfax County and all those. Yeah, I know it well. My son was born in Fairfax.
Okay. So in my town, when you meet a Black Washington, those are descendants of George Washington. So that history with the Jeffersons, we knew that the Black people out there that last name was Jefferson, we knew. But official history would be oh no, white people didn't want to include them; they were excluding them on purpose. And even though that was Black knowledge history there, because it run deep.
Well, at this point, I'm really not even talking race here, but I think we owe it to our Black children. And me with, y'all know my story. His mother died when he was 7. So, I pretty much raised him on my own with help from my family, of course. But
hold on, Stanley, before you continue,
you owe it to your kids.
I want to say goodnight to you all. I gotta
yes, ma'am. I'm so sorry. I Candi, okay. I did not mean to go this far, but I'm passionate about this history stuff.
Yeah, I know. It's a lot of people who are passionate about it. I get it. I do.
Right.
Good night, Candi. I'm gonna let you go about.
So I'll say good night too. I know you need to get out of here, but I'm glad you let me come up and kind of speak my piece. I think the generational argument is really it's let the white people do that generational stuff. Black people did not have the kind of power or generational wealth. My father is 83. Shoot, I was born in 65. That's pretty much when Jim Crow ended. So what generational wealth, what money, what are these kids?
And I think we'll have to save that for a part 2, because I've definitely heard the kids say that's part of the problem. They're not empathetic for the fact that there was a wage gap and systemic racism and redlining and all of that. They're looking at
that's because they're not taught it. They're literally not taught it.
Yeah.
And apparently their parents aren't talking about it either. I'm way elder Gen X. And look, And it is a part two, but it is so funny to hear my 83-year-old father who grew up in Adel, Georgia, in the middle of Jim Crow, tell my son, look, where you're going to college, the only way a black man could have been there was pushing a broom. My
Mm,
father is awesome. So the 20-year-old hears the 83-year-old granddaddy. That's
mhm.
what I call him. I call him daddy. He calls him granddaddy. Granddaddy's telling you the truth. And thank God my father is around to talk to my son, his pure grandson. Don't, the generational stuff, but this is generation to generation. So we need more of that if it's possible. History books, these millennials are being miseducated by these public schools and just the school system in general. And the white kids are too. White kids don't know this stuff. That's why they're talking boomers too. So
Mhm.
anyway, you're right. It's a second show. Let me know when you want to talk this stuff, and I'll be happy to come up.
I definitely will. I might go live again some before the weekend, so it'll probably be
Okay.
another one of these pop-up
Yes,
afternoon. I
ma'am.
think this worked out. It was a good show, and people got the opportunity to come through who would normally not, because it's the weekend. But I
Yes,
definitely
ma'am.
think there may be a part two to this, and I don't know if you want to like do it as a simulcast or whatever, co-host it,
We can do
but
that.
yeah,
But let me know, because I kind of plan out these daily shows. But
okay.
yeah, I think it's a conversation worth having. And I was really impressed with Taz. Look, he takes history seriously, and all black people should, in my
Hmm.
opinion. Just my opinion. All black adults, not the kids so much.
Yeah,
So
understandable.
anyway, ma'am, I totally appreciate it. Enjoyed talking to you and the guests. And let me know. I will definitely be interested in talking about it.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you
So
so much for
see
coming
you.
through. Appreciate it. You are
Yes,
a
ma'am.
gem as well as always, Stanley.
Bye.
Bye bye. I just want to say to everybody out there, I appreciate each and every single person that came through, everybody that hit the panel, everybody who hit the chat from every side, Tiff side, DJ side. I think it was a good discussion. I appreciate, everybody being willing to, state their opinion, whether, you were whether you agreed or not with the points or questions that were being asked. So I just wanted to start there. I do agree that there may be a level of grace that we might need to have with some of our older generation, understanding that they did not have the resources that we have today. And when I say we, I'm specifically speaking millennial and younger, especially when it comes to mental health. This is Men's Mental Health Month. And in fact, the stream is going to redirect over to DJs afterwards because he's doing a stream on Does Men's Mental Health Matter? And when we talk about like not having grace for granddad, not having grace for fathers who were out here in the world dealing with what they were dealing with, I do think there is a level of truth to that. However, I do also want to keep in mind that not to do the oppression Olympics, but grandma was going through the same thing. Maybe not to the extent that she was being called boy, right, by grown men, as being a grown man. I don't know. I feel like it helps to have these talks, in my opinion, because it gives a different perspective and allows us to humanize the people that we don't understand. We don't always understand. I hope that makes sense. Like I'm looking at it now and I'm thinking back to my like the conversation. I'm gonna go back and talk to my uncle. Like I told you, my uncle, like he really I love him to death. And he has an issue. I think there's a big father wound there. And this is not a single family, like single mother thing. Like dude, I come from a line of two-parent households all the way down. My grandma, my great grandma, my mama. Two-parent households live with the husband in the house, but you can be the man in the house and still leave a void in your children. And I want people to take that as the takeaway from this. like the emotional things, while you may feel like your leaders don't need to be emotional, you still have to protect the mental health and the emotions of your children. And I want that to be what we do going forward as a community. I don't, I'm not saying this so that we overcompensate. I'm just saying give a damn, care, like take it into some level of consideration. And I think if you can find the balance in that, that would be great. I know we're not perfect. We're all flawed, so we're all going to make mistakes. But just keep that in mind when you're talking to your kids. You can love them down, but if you're beating them down throughout the love, then do you think that they really understand that? And then what sort of generational curse? What are you creating as you take the outside world's abuse and pass it on to your family? That's it. That's all I'm saying. So my last thing to you all is this: what is for me. And there's not a soul on this earth that can take away a single blessing that I have earned. And I want y'all to remember that as you go out into the world. No matter who aligns themselves to be the weapon formed against you, you shall prosper. Good night, y'all. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it.